Well, today is August 31st and the last day of the month of August. Man, it's gone by fast. It's been an interesting month. It's been a fun month. And today just kind of capped it all off. I learned a few things today. So all month we've been talking about how these fish are being caught deeper, dredging the bottom, and then it seems like the last week or so they're starting to come up. And maybe that's because we have transitioned to targeting more coho than we are snook. But today, well, let's back up. Yesterday we were catching a lot of fish in 20 to 30 feet of water and digging dirt. Today, the very first spot we came to, we started out by just training up the customers, getting everyone else squared away, teaching them how to use the gear, and we just started getting lines in. And my starboard bow rod, he puts his line in the water, reels up to the rod tip, 2-0 out, and while that bait is flipping there on the surface with the spin fish and the flasher, fish hits it right on the surface. That tells you something right there, and you need to pay attention to it. Those fish are shallow. And so on my graph, I was marking a lot of grass in the bottom 10 feet of the water column. And I didn't want to get all grassed up. That fish bit right off the top. Great, no problem. Let's go 10, 15, 20 on the line counters. We did that, and it was game on. We got almost all of our fish today, no matter where we fished, depth of water, if we were in 15 feet of water or if we're in 50 feet of water. We're catching most of our fish at 10 to 20 feet on the line counters anywhere we went today. Outgoing tide, incoming tide. That bite this morning on the surface was middle of max ebb. We were going 5.5 miles an hour downstream. That goes against a lot of what we would typically say down here and typically tell people where to fish in the water column. It is backwards, but you never ever argue with the fish, ever. And they told us something, and we listened. So today was a great day. We had an awesome crew, just really fun mixed group of folks. We ended up getting most of our fish on the spin fish with the fish nip. Yesterday we had 3, 4, 5 bites on spinners, so I figured I'd run 2 spinners today, thinking that would maybe get us 6, 8 bites today. We only had 1 bite on spinner today. Everything else was on spin fish. And it kind of surprised me, honestly, because it was a pretty good spinner bite yesterday. What else? So we started out over on the Washington side doing the church hole troll, and it was We went down to Chinook, Ilwaco, bottom of the sands, and it was Went over to Buoy 20, Came up to Hammond, Finished at the bridge here on the Oregon side, There was no real hot bite anywhere. I never saw more than 5, 10 nets, dozen nets in a spot, and we would pick off 3, 4, 5, 6 fish each spot we went to. So it wasn't ever hot. There was never that wide open bite. You would start to think things would get ramped up, but it never really would. It was just consistent, which I will take that all day long. I love having a consistent bite because it keeps everyone engaged and interested. So today was just a blast. It was a lot of fun. What I've heard from the ocean here recently, I've actually had a few folks ask about the ocean. I personally have not been out there because the crews that I'm running would prefer to stay inside and learn how to fish this fishery in here. And so we have been staying inside and finding plenty of fish, just not as many hatchery fish as we like. Today, the same thing happened. Lots of wilds. But we did end up keeping 4 fish. Hey, I'll take it. For the amount of wilds that we released, I'm still, for the last week since it closed, I guess 10 days now, since it closed for Chinook, I'm personally, just my boat, me personally, and that's a very small sample size, running at about probably a 25-30% mark rate. 25-30% of the fish, coho, that we land are actually hatchery. Hopefully that switches for the better here soon. It's getting painful letting all those fish go. But the good news is we're still not running bait, so we're not killing any of these fish. Honestly, we're getting them barely in the lip. But going back to the ocean, so the ocean has been really good if you can find a rip. And with the tides where they are right now, that rip typically isn't showing up until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Pretty late to be out there in the ocean because usually that afternoon wind kicks up and it can get pretty sporty out there with that wind chop. But never know. Every day is different, and as these tides start switching up, we'll hopefully get some rips close in the morning, and we might have some great days out there in the ocean here in early September. So we'll see. But the good news is if you can't get outside, there's plenty of fish that are inside as well. I think with that, I need to get this boat cleaned up. We got coho blood and lures to clean and all sorts of stuff, so I need to get myself all showered up. I got the wife coming into town, can't wait to see her, And also, the Duck game is at 4:30. I'm a Duck alum, so of course I'm going to be rooting for them. If you hate the Ducks, awesome. Root against them. We're all here to root for our own team, and I'm rooting for my Ducks. Go Ducks. We'll see you guys tomorrow.